welcome to Domestic Friday. I am your host, Phenomenal Reflections, and today we're going to talk about a couple of things, and we're going to just go ahead and dive right in. First topic we're going to talk about on season 1, episode 1 is understanding domestic violence. Within the African American community, there are a lot of different abuse in many forms. So on this podcast, what we'll do is we'll talk about those things and break those things down, but we're not going to be limited to talking about domestic violence. We're going to be talking about everyday life, everyday situation, and everything that occurs as being an African American. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and explain what is domestic violence. Domestic violence is a pattern of abuse behavior in any relationship that is used by one partner now to gain or maintain power or control over one another. And when I say one another, I mean it could be partner, it could be mother, father, brother, sister, cousin, it doesn't even matter. Domestic violence is not always from a partner, as I just explained, but it can also be a form in family, especially mothers and daughters and fathers and sons. And I'm going to talk about my story later on within the seasons and the episode. And I'm going to be transparent and share the things that I've encountered as a domestic violence recipient. So I'm going to continue to share some things with you about this domestic violence. So when I say it can come in many forms and many shapes, I'm referring to it could be physical abuse. And when I say physical abuse, I mean hitting, slapping, shoving, or any type of physical harm, sexual abuse, forcing or coercing any sexual contact or behavior without consent. It could be emotional abuse. It could be as far as humiliation, gaslighting, or undermining a person and their self-worth. It also can be economic abuse, controlling a person's access to money and financial resource, and I'm pretty sure we've all been encountered that one. And psychologically abuse, meaning isolation, intimidations, or threat. So it is important that domestic violence can happen, that you know that it can happen to anyone regardless of the age, the race, the age, the gender, the sexual orientation. It can even be religion. But what I'm going to do is give you a list of information in case you're listening out there. I'm going to give you the number to the 1-800 hotline, the National Domestic Violence Hotline. And the number is 1-800-799-7233. And again, this is the National Domestic Violence Hotline. And I'm gonna give you a couple of more things that you can, kind of navigate if you're out there and you need help with any situation. And that's the Trevor Project, which is kind of, for the LGBT community. And that's 1-866-488-7386. And there's also Love is Respect for teens and young adults. And you can, also remain anonymous on all of these information that I'm putting out there to you. And that number is 1-866-331-9474. And if you in like a marriage or anything and you need a community of women, I'm gonna give you womenlaw.org, and this can kind of help you actually navigate towards divorce if that's something that you choose to do. I'm not projecting that onto anyone, but I am just providing the information in front of you. And I'm also going to provide my information. And my information is strictly for if you want to tell your story and you've never told your story before and you want to remain anonymous, please email me at Phenomenal Reflections. Make sure that reflections have an S on it. 2024 at gmail.com. And as we later progress on into the show, I'm going to give you my number. My number is for you to call in. And if you can't email or you don't know how to email, you just want to text your story, you can do that. But the number is specifically for calling in. That number is 901-501-5456. And again, that number is for specifically for calling in. And I'm going to share some stories that I have encountered from my family members. And those, once I begin to dive in and share those stories, I will not reveal the names of the family members for their safety. And they just really want to, remain anonymous, and that's okay with us. Okay, this is something that we just starting out, and we need the community to be involved. And this is something that is not really talked about worldwide, and especially in the African American community. Some things are looked over, some things are shrugged off, and some things are, oh, it's really not that deep, when it's really your life and you only get one. So it's that deep. So what you have to do is focus on walking out. Focus on and paying attention that you're in a situation. And I know that it's not always easy. You're not in the financial situation where you can do that. But on this podcast, we're going to talk about all those different things later on where we'll be able to dive in. And it's important that you stay tuned and stay connected with the Phenomenal Reflection podcast, because we will be going live every Friday on Domestic Fridays, is that, and we're going to be going at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I am in Memphis, Tennessee. And if you want to reach out to me, don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. I am not the one that's going to be, look down on you. That's not my job. That's not what I'm here to do. My job is here to protect you, get the information out there, know that you are being abused, and know that you are in a situation and it's not right. It's not right at all. So with that being said, I want to be the pioneer. I want to be the umbrella. I want to be the olive branch that extending to you, that you can be able to do this, and that you have a community behind you, and that you have us behind you, promoting you to do what you need to do. Because a lot of times within these situations, we have children and we're afraid, to walk away. So as we dive later on within this topic and conversation, we will have guest speakers that will come on the platform and maybe tell their story or give you insight of what you can do. But again, we're not going to be limited to talking about domestic violence, because it's a lot of topics that we need to cover that, kind of reaches abroad of domestic violence. And we just, here on the podcast of Phenomenal Reflection, we just want to extend this olive branch to you. And so you can have, some comfort within yourself. And you have to know that you are at risk. You have to know that you are a survivor. And you can tell your story. And I'm telling you, it really is okay. It's okay. Don't feel shame. That's not what this podcast is about. There's no shame. There's no pointing fingers. We're not doing that here. And we're going to show you how to break the silence, and get behind you and push you forward into your greatness on whatever you want to do. That's my objective here on the Phenomenal Reflection podcast, and I am going to advocate for you. I'm definitely going to do that, because I feel like my ancestors are calling me to do this. This is something that is new to all of us, and something that hasn't been done within the community. There's different topics and things, and I'm also going to pull from stories that are probably viral as well. And we're going to dissect those and break those down. And my job is for you to understand, where did everything go wrong? How did I let this happen? How did I fall into this thing of domestic violence? How did I get here? Why did I get here? You know, how did I let someone, as we say in the community, trick me at my spot? You know, and as a community, we got to stand together. I applaud everyone that's come forward, and everyone that will submit their information and remain anonymous. I applaud you for doing that, because it takes a lot of courage to do that. And when you don't have a support system, and that's what we're here for, if you don't have a support system, that is something that a lot of people struggle with coming forward. It's like, nobody gonna listen to me, nobody gonna hear me, nobody is going to say, hey, that there's an issue. Nobody going to talk and speak up, because everything is want to be, swept up under the rug. And we want to try to stop that moving forward. If we can, we want to try to, promote everything that it is for you to be healthy and safe. You know, I don't have any housing available for any domestic violence recipient. Maybe in the near future, if there's something in the forefront for me and my ancestors are guiding me to do, I'm all for that. I have no problem with that situation. But I want to teach you how to be in healthy relationships, understanding the advocacy and its policy, and breaking the stigma and breaking the generational of domestic violence. I am a recipient of my parents were of domestic violence. So I'm going to tell my story, but not in this episode. I'm tell my story within the next couple of episodes to come, and how my grandmother and my mother were a part of domestic violence. But back then, those type of things, it was like I had to stay in order for me to provide for my family, or in order for us to have a situation, because I are a lot of times our parents wasn't in great situations where they were able to walk away. They didn't have a lot of education, for one thing. And speaking from experience of my mother, it was something that, she didn't have. So I'm going to share my story and be transparent with you. I'm going to walk this thing down with you. I am here for you. So don't hesitate to email me, call me, ring the alarm if you have to. You feel what I'm saying? Just know that somebody is here for you in the African American community. And I'm not trying to separate or divide. I'm willing to help any and everybody that's want to move forward with domestic violence and trying to walk away or get out. But my main concern is helping everyone within the community and be the voice that no one has, and understand that you are not alone. You are not alone. Just understand that, and understand that I love you. I love you. I am here for you. I will not, in any shape, form, or fashion, put you in the forefront of having yourself in a situation where you're going to die. That's not what, or should I say, unalive? I'm sorry. I'm not putting that out there. I'm just being the olive branch for you so you can understand, and so I can educate you on that, and show you about advocacy and support. So, with that being said, this is the end of episode one of season one. And follow us for the next episode, and we will see you at the top.